This is definitely my most requested video. So strap in, kids, here it comes. Hi friends, I am Sarah, also known as Budget Girl here on the internet, and today we are jumping into my own personal budget. That's right, no holds barred budget. These are all of my numbers. This is exactly what I spend on. You can zoom in if you want and see when I had Taco Bell. When I was paying off $33,000 worth of student debt, I actually did my budget every single month on this channel. But after I paid off all my debt and I saved a $10,000 emergency fund, it became just less fun for me to show you guys these budget reports because I wasn't really personally working towards anything, and also people started to get really critical of how I spent my money, and that just didn't encourage me. But we are back, and I think I have the solution to my own problem here. We are now incorporating net worth updates. Yes, I am ready for this. So I also realized that during my debt payoff journey, other than a couple of videos where I kind of calculated my net worth, this hasn't been something I've been tracking. I am now, and I've actually been working on kind of beta testing for almost a year, a net worth tracker that I'm now selling in my Etsy shop, same as my budget that you're about to see. If you want either one of these things you're about to see, you can go get them there. There will be a link down below. And I wanted to figure out a way that would be easy and convenient and make sense to track my net worth and to make it an easy place for people who have a lot of different accounts, because I've tried things like Mint and Personal Capital for this, but the accounts are constantly unlinking and it's just a giant problem. Also, I have some accounts that won't work with that, like my retirement system through my main job, that won't link out to anything. I just have to go look up that number every month. So today I present you my very first budget recap and net worth update. We are closing out October. Budget looks a lot different than you guys have seen before. I will link my previous budget videos below. And I also have some news that I made over $9,000 this month. Not a normal month for me. But you'll see exactly where all the money came from and where it's going. And I hope this inspires you to make a budget, to stick to a budget, and maybe how to make this work better in your life. Let's jump in. Okay, so we are now in my budget. Let's go through first the income box. We'll go back to the gray box at the top in a minute. So from my main job, which is at Texas A&M, I earned $3,126, and then I always estimate I'm gonna make about $500 from Budget Girl, and I actually made $4,289.26, and that's mainly because I had 2 invoices for sponsored videos and social integrations that came through. I did those back in June and July, and they were on a 90-day pay system, so they both came in, and that helped. The third button here you see was not here last time y'all came in, I don't think, but this is the new system I have to kind of keep track of Jacob's rent. Since I own my home and I'm paying a mortgage on it, he is paying rent to me, and so his rent is $500, his half for electricity, his half for lawn and electricity, and then I also order monsters through him every month through my Amazon Prime subscription because it's free. So he paid me a total of $716.54. And then for BG Properties, which is the home that I own, that's not incorporated or anything, that's just what I want it to be one day, I got paid rent of $10.50 for the other unit in my duplex. And then the other $409.65, I actually cashed out some cashback rewards from a credit card that I've been using for the past 2 years just as a debit card. I will do another video on this, but I have been using it. I haven't been paying a cent of interest. Everything is on auto pay, and I just pretend it's my debit card. And over the past couple of years, I've racked up $400 in cash back that I wouldn't have. So I put that in here as additional income because I had to decide what to do with it. And then also up at the top in the box here, I pulled $212.57 from an investing app called Stockpile, and another $287.72 from an investing app called Robinhood. I decided I no longer want to use those apps. I haven't talked about them because I wanted to try them out before I made any public opinions on them, but I decided I didn't like them and they weren't worth the fees. So I actually just moved all of that money to my Vanguard Roth IRA, and that's where that went. So I didn't count that in the income either, because that was just kind of moving investing around. Next. All right, so in this next section, you can actually see all of my expenses. And what I actually really want you to pay attention to is that I only budget off of what my Texas A&M income is. And we'll get back to why in a second. But I like to live on a lot less than my income, and the rest of those sources of income aren't necessarily guaranteed. So by budgeting off of just my day job income, it always makes sure to give me a lot more to work with. So I do a zero-based budget off of that, and then I'll show you how I handle Budget Girl income and expenses. So everything is here. As far as I only put $150 a month to my mortgage, because as you saw, Jacob pays rent, my renters pay rent, and so my contribution to that is just $150. And then car insurance, phone, gas, electricity, household, personal, etc. I'm actually under on every category this month. You can see this is where I fill in all of the expenses. Anytime I make a purchase, I keep the receipt, I log it in here, and then it calculates it for me. So I actually operate on just under 60% of my income for expenses, and I had $252 left from my total expense budget, which is about $18.20. And then the next 30% of my budget is all savings. That may seem like a lot, but I'm working towards something that I consider very important here. So the main thing in here is this $500 house emergency fund. So I'm actively trying to save $10,000 as a house/rental emergency fund in case any major thing happens with my home, or I have to deal with, renters not paying or a major repair. I just want that in the bank. I have about $4,000 right now in there, and I'm going to stop that when it reaches 10, and then I'll probably move this savings to something else, either saving or investing, most likely saving for the next home. But yeah, and the rest of these are just sinking funds, and they are all on automatic payment, and that totals out to 30% of my money. And then at just a hair under 12%, I have investing. I am not fully I'm not contributing all $500 a month to Roth IRA right now, because I had some other goals this year. I actually am only about $2,000 shy of maxing out my Roth IRA this year. I might be able to do it, I might not, it depends, but that was less of a priority to me this year because I was purchasing the home, and now I'm saving all those emergency funds for the home. All right, so now we are in my kind of income generating section, and you're going to see 3 sections here: one for Budget Girl, one for BG Properties, and one for BG Penny Planters, which is a potential side hustle where I make little concrete pots, and I plan on wholesaling them to local nurseries. I have a video I did on potentially starting a new business. I will link that below. But right now, the purple and the pink box, actually all the expenses in this get duplicated in my personal spending. So these boxes down here, these two, are only so that I can track over the long term how much I'm putting into these things. So specifically for the BG Properties, I had a door repair kit that I had to purchase. I want to log that for end of year tax purposes, but I'm paying for it out of my personal budget. Budget Girl, however, is different because it is income generating. So as you can see right here, I made $708 off of YouTube. I made $65 off of AdSense for my website. I made $64 off of my Etsy shop, which is where you can get this budget and the expense tracker. And then I have 2 sponsored things that paid me the majority of my $4,289 income for this month. Once again, not a normal month. This was more. Usually I do a max of 1 sponsorship, and often I don't do a sponsorship in a month, or at least don't get paid for a sponsorship in a month. So it's more the other things that make up the income for that. And then here are my expenses for Budget Girl. I pay for internet, I pay for a Canva Pro subscription. I have a newsletter person that VA that does my newsletter for me, a video editor. I bought a course from a fellow personal finance person to support them. I spent $150 on improving the site speed on my website. So if you've ever gone to budgetgirl.com and it was slow and you clicked away, I fixed it. There was all sorts of stuff they did that I don't understand, but it's better now. It's super fast now. You should go check it out. Thank you. And then this is a project that I will talk about later, but it's some sample merch, because y'all have been requesting merch for years. And then I spent $12 on the TFD virtual conference, once again supporting friends in the personal finance space. And I paid $40 for writer. I changed newsletter services, and so that's the fee for that. And then finally, I have a business savings. Now specifically, this is for tax purposes. I pay quarterly taxes of $478.40 every quarter for Budget Girl, to offset the amount that I will pay at tax time, because this is an income generating business that I don't currently pay taxes on. YouTube doesn't take money out for taxes, so I'm responsible for all of that at tax time, so that is for this. Which left me with a total take-home pay from Budget Girl of $3,416.66. Not a bad month. And then what I do here is, as we mentioned, there was $252.60 left in my personal budget, so that gets dropped here, then the $34.16, and then that $409 that I mentioned before comes out to a total of $4,078.91 that I did not spend. So that's income minus expenses. And then right here, I have this little sent you box that says, what are you gonna send this to? So several months ago, I actually got into a car accident and I had to purchase a new car, and I just used my emergency fund to do so. It is, and I haven't been super eager to replenish that just because I was trying to build the house emergency fund. I decided I wanted to just go ahead and finish that regular emergency fund again. So now I have only $250 left. So I'm at whatever 10,000 minus 250 is. That's easy math, $9,775-ish dollars. And then, as we can see, the ending amount is here and the date that I closed the budget. So that is what I do to reconcile my budget. And now I have a new section where I track my net worth, because just the budget doesn't show us a full picture of my financial state, and I'm excited to show you what it is now. So this is my new net worth tracker. I'm extremely excited about it. There have been several iterations of this because I didn't want to show you guys anything that wasn't ready. In fact, I'll click over here. This was the previous version. It's terrifying to look at. I hated it and it gave me a headache every time. So yeah, this is better. This is a lot better, and this is an entire year at a glance of where all of your money is, and it categorizes out things for liquid assets, any debts, everything like that, to actually track your net worth, which is something I am very excited about doing, because now that I have multiple streams of income and a lot of different kind of irons in the fire, it's not just as simple as my total focus is paying off debt. Net worth is a better metric to track to see how I'm doing, and I think it's gonna make me be inspired about doing budgets again. I've been doing them, I'll probably always do it, but yeah. So let's start at the top here. So, and as you can see, I have this filled out for the entire year until now. I only just launched it though, because I wanted to make sure that all the bugs were gone. So right here you can see assets start at the top. So I have my checking and my duplex checking, because I keep all of the money for my duplex in a different account. So the mortgage auto drafts out of there, the payments for rent go into there. It's a very simple system that keeps it away from my personal accounts, and the checking amount in there is $25.47. So what happens is on the first of the month, the money gets pulled out, and then on like the second and the third, the checks get deposited in. So this is pretty much what it stays at. So there's always a month's worth of rent in there for the next month, which is nice. And I actually don't even have my personal checking account info in here, because I've been doing a lot of payments and trading last couple of days, but we're gonna just operate without it. It's gonna be fine. All right, and then the next section, savings. So I have 3 main savings accounts, and then we'll go into my sinking funds. And I have these separated because that's the way my brain works. So in my emergency fund, as we mentioned, I have $9,749. And then in my duplexy fund, I have $4,306. And then in just a long-term savings account that you guys always ask about, this is just like a backup emergency fund. I've been putting $20 and $50 a month into it since I started my debt-free journey, and I just like it. I can't explain it, I just like it, okay? And that's $1,629. All right, so that totals out to $15,684 in just regular savings that I have sitting around. And then let's go down to my sinking funds so you can check on the status of my sinking funds. And I reconciled this yesterday. So some of these numbers look the same as last month because it's still October as I'm filming this, and I just decided to go ahead and do it. So the deposits go over on the 3rd for my sinking funds. So this is not an accurate portrait for November, but it's an accurate portrait for the end of October. So 116 in new home save, that's not going to be touched for a while. I should actually probably just transfer that to my duplex savings. I'm not going to though. I have $1,348 in my travel fund, $298 in my car insurance sinking fund, which automatically drafts, so when I pay it twice a year, the money is there. $478 in my car repair fund, which is just another sinking fund I always contribute to. You're always going to have a car issue eventually, and this is the money you pay for it. Let's see, $213 in pet sinking fund, $1,758 in Christmas. I'm not going to spend all that. Actually, I probably really need to adjust that. How much comes out. I will do that at the beginning of the year summit. If you want a video on how I kind of how I take stock of my money situation at the beginning of every year and kind of adjust how much I contribute to my sinking funds, make my goals for money for the next year and all of that, please let me know in the comments below. And I will do that because money summits are fun. They involve wine. And then YouTube savings is at $240 right now because I just paid quarterly taxes in September or October, I don't know. So that totals out to $4,653 in my sinking funds. One very, very quick thing. Sinking funds in my head are to help not bust my budget when something major comes up, like Christmas, like a car repair. They are kind of the first line of defense. They're my pawns if this were a chess game. And just because I have a certain amount in that, in a singular sinking fund, doesn't mean that if there was an there was a situation that required more than that, that I wouldn't be able to pull from the other sinking funds. This is just $5,000 in cash, just sitting there in case I need it. Same as the $15,000 up here in my savings. I consider that kind of my second line of defense. I don't want to get into those emergency savings. I want to use my first layer of savings first so that my emergency savings almost never has to get tapped. I've tapped my emergency savings maybe twice in 6 years, and one was that car situation. This totals out all of my liquid cash on hand to $22,884. Awesome. That and that doesn't include what's in my checking account right now, which is probably about $4,000, and I get paid on the 1st. All right, and then we'll go through this part a little bit quicker. This is just all of my retirement stuff and investments. And I mentioned that I was closing these 2 investing accounts, and I just moved that to my Vanguard VT Sachs Roth IRA. So total in investments is $30,698, and that makes my total liquid assets, so money that I could pull out if I needed it, in to $53,582. Not bad for someone who was negative $33K 6 years ago. I don't talk about this often, but I'm really proud of myself and how far I've been able to come using these budget tools and just kind of working on this for all these years. It really, really changed my financial life. I'll stuff that now. So the next section of this is going to be property assets. So I have my duplex, which is was assessed at $240,000, and I have a car that's worth $6,000. Blue Book, which makes my total property assets $246,000, and my total all assets, so all of my savings, investments, and property totals out to $299,582. So almost $300,000. That's kind of fun. And then of course we have debts. I hated adding this until April. I had no debts. I owe $224,000 and $415 on my home. And then, as you can see here, it looks like I haven't made a payment for this month because this is November and that comes out on the 1st. So it actually decreases about $350 out of my $1,700 mortgage payment because we are at the very beginning of my loan. So that's only gonna go up from there. And yeah, so total debt is that $224,415, and income or assets minus debts equals $75,167, which is a new milestone for me. I think last October-ish, I did a video where I calculated my net worth and I was right about 50,000, which also very exciting. A lot has changed since then. So, and then I have a monthly net worth change and a yearly net worth change, which is a fun little thing if you're into finances at all. And that shows across the board kind of how much my net worth increased and decreased over the year. And so, like for instance, in March, my net worth went down $8,000 because the stock market crashed. And then in June, I got into the red again, not into the red, but my net worth decreased by $13,000 because that is almost exactly what I had to put into purchasing my home with the down payment and closing costs and everything like that. So, and then third, in August, my net worth also, or my net worth change also went down just a little bit because I did a lot of renovations and was moving, so there was kind of double costs there. But other than that, my net worth has been going up, up, and up this year. So for instance, in January, it was $63,000. In July, it was $76,000. Yeah, and then I lost money because I was up to 82 and then I put a lot of money into my home. And now I'm at 75,000. That is a really fun milestone for me. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know a lot of you guys just enjoy kind of peeking into other people's finances. I know I do too. I'll totally admit it. So this is the way I've chosen to spend my money. I'm not telling you this is how you should spend yours. Personal finance is very, very personal. And I just want to root you guys on, give you lessons that I have learned through all of this, and hopefully help you out with some resources like the net worth tracker and the budget that will keep you just jazzed about bettering your financial situation. Let me know if you enjoyed this video by giving this a like. You guys have been asking for this, so please like this video. And if you are new here, I do plan on doing these more potentially quarterly net worth updates. I'll let you know, or let me know down in the comments how often you want these. And make sure to subscribe so you'll see them. I will see you next time. All right, bye guys. Happy budgeting.